Welcome to Igniting Inspired Inquiry, a space for real conversations with incredible humans. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm here to open the door to reflection, resonance, and revelation. If you have a moment to like, share, subscribe, or review, I would deeply appreciate you sharing the love. This is a space for truth, trust, and the kind of insight that comes from simply being human. Thank you for being here. Let's begin. Here we are. Today I get to have a beautiful inquiry with a friend I've actually known for a very long time, and I love reflecting on how we met and the weave in which we just appear at times, which is so special. So today I have a beautiful guest who she'll actually share where she is, but she's dialing in for this conversation. I'm really, really grateful. So I'm going to hand it over to you, beautiful Teresa. If you could share with us, and thank you so much for being here, share with us, who is Teresa?
Thank you so much for having me. Amazing that you started this podcast. Well done.
Thank
And I'm Teresa Tamara Shanti. And I'm joining you from Waiheke Islands, and that's my heart chosen home. I'm originally from
you.
Germany, and yeah, I found New Zealand through situations. And yeah, my mission, my passion is really to support people to bring them back into themselves, into their heart, and support more holistic. I'm coming from the sport therapy, at the same time worked a lot and with rehabilitation. At the same time, I dive into energy work, that we really have the full picture. And in this way, we come back into balance and to inner peace.
Mm. Yay. That's why we're aligned.
Yes.
I love that. So, first question, which you know, the common thread, what is, for us to hear today, one moment, belief, or experience that changed the way you see the world?
Yes. That's for me 2016, a moment. It was my birthday, and I received a call from my dad, and he said, "I'm sorry, I cannot come to your birthday lunch because I'm in Tübingen with my brother, my older brother, and because he had an accident. He jumped from a river, from a bridge into a river to dive on a summer day to refresh himself. And he was having quadriplegia, like from the neck onwards, semi-paralyzed. And in this way, he came straight to the hospital, get surgery and everything. And yeah, for 1 year in the hospital. And this whole journey with my brother gave me definitely like a wake up call, like, what do you want from your life or in your life? What do you want to experience? And
Mm.
that was so game changer for the whole family, that all the small fights, like my parents are separated, everything was gone. Everything is not important anymore. Everybody is coming together like, okay, we need to be here. Where is someone at the hospital with him? And yeah, I keep going. Every Thursday I went to him. And then I would had two jobs, like in a rehabilitation center and in a physio clinic, and helped my grandma, helped the other old lady for grocery shopping, and was training the girls with dancing and the workouts and everything. And then after 6 months after the accident, I broke down. Like I couldn't go anymore. My body, my muscle, they're blocked. I couldn't train anymore like I normally do. And I had full burnout. Like from the physiotherapy clinic, they sent me home and said, like, you need time for yourself. I was just crying at work. And my partner to this time said, you really need your me time. And
Mhm.
he let me go. He broke up with me in this hardest moment. And then I said, okay, I take like I cried at first, but this helped me to really say, okay, I take charge of my own life. I take self-responsibility, and luckily I had an amazing manager, and she gave me the right books, the right questions to really start my journey, like to see what do I want, what I feel like, what's out there.
Mm.
And then I remembered I was 27 to this time. And when I was 17, 18, I would love to go like as a nanny overseas and all this stuff, but I was in a long-term relationship. And then it was really the desire to see the world, like what else is possible, and
Yeah.
um, to say, okay, yes, I want to live fully, which means for me, the full world, the whole world is for me. I'm curious, and I want to see it.
Mm. Wow, what a beautiful journey. A really challenging one
Yeah.
in so many facets. And I hear like the universe clearing space for you, even when you don't want it, but it's
Yes.
needed.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for you to find those answers and to be where you need to be when you need to be there. And then
Yeah.
also to take what you need when you can
Yeah.
and let that be sort of the wind beneath your sails, right? Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
And with that now, how do you think that changes the way you view the world today? With what? With, I mean, I know that there was a lot that you shared there, but just with, in a nutshell of that experience and you who's come out the other side of that.
I definitely like the aspect of I can create my life.
Hmm.
That came later, but that was the, I would
It comes
say
with the experience.
that like to step by step, like reading more books and listen to more people, and oh wow, there's a different lifestyle, there's different ways of being, and being now self-employed, having my own connection to my body, to my woman cycle, having less clients when I'm bleeding and having more clients if I'm ovulating, like finding my rhythm and not
Hmm.
external rhythm. I
Yes.
think that is the nutshell. Like this is like the moment my brother is in luckily still consciously alive, and like he can speak, and he activates his arm, he has a handbike, which is amazing. Before it was everything still, and in this way, in one moment everything can change, and I'm grateful
Mm.
for my body. I can move, I can dance, and this is for me the best. This appreciation for my body,
Hmm.
I think that is the game changer in the creation
Yes.
of your own life. Yeah.
Yeah. So true and so powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Here we are in question two, which is in the moment. So you don't know this question. And it actually comes off the back of something you shared at the end of question one. And the reason why I ask is because we're literally just talking about that this morning and last night. And when we're in the conscious weave of life, this is the way it works, right? Conversations ripple and things start to open up, and the universe is like, you need to explore this, which I love. And
Yeah.
where I'm going with this question is, can you share more about what you've learned about working with your cycle and learning about your natural rhythm as a woman?
Yes. Honestly, that was so beneficial for me. Like so insightful. Honoring ourselves, our body is just the biggest gift we can give ourselves. For me, it's the information came through Charlotte from Queenstown or Glenorchy. She had different workshops, and she offered as well a combination of the moon cycle with the yoga, like having understanding the moon, like rising energy, full moon, full energy. If the moon is getting smaller, like slowing down, and then the new moon is like, oh, cozy, gentle. And in this way is our cycle as well.
Mm.
And to this time, my cycle was in sync with the moon. It was amazing. Like having the new moon and bleeding, it's like for me amazing.
Mm.
Um, like to honor the stillness and as well honoring the powerful journey. Like if you were ovulating, like okay, then run workshops, okay, go out and going to festivals and all this stuff, like being out there.
Hmm.
And if you're bleeding, you go inward and you allow the time to journal, to allow the time to be cozy in bed in the morning, long, slow morning. It is really beneficial and reflecting on it to
Hmm.
have the emotion as well, like to see their own patterns, their own emotional patterns, the eating habits, like oh, I'm craving more for hot chocolate to this time or cacao. But this time I don't want any cacao and
Mm.
I feel like I need more proteins and I need more this or I need more beetroot and yeah, like it's super interesting to allow the time and space to reflect with yourself and with your cycle. That's definitely a
I
game
agree.
changer for every woman.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's really beautiful to hear. Wow, a lot of similarities in what's aligned for me. And I love working with the moon. I love teaching in alignment with the moon, but also what I didn't under it, well, what I underestimated was like I think that tuning into your cycle and tuning into your body is what ignites your intuition.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like you said about like listening and being in the listening of what we need and when we need it and being and not necessarily being regimented because there's nothing wrong with you if it's the new moon and you feel like you're full of energy, but because
Yeah.
that may not be every time. However, it's like really tuning into how it flows for you and how it works with the cycle. And that's why I wanted to bring that in because this concept of because there's a lot of conditioning around routine and like having everything as it is, which I get. But I think for a woman, that routine is in a 28-day cycle, not a 7-day cycle or a
Yes.
daily cycle. Yeah. And that's what I was sharing with one of my clients yesterday because she was like, and she was talking about how she went to the gym because that was what it was on the schedule, even though she was bleeding and her body was like, no. And she felt really flat afterwards. But she was like, and that's not a mistake because she won't forget that. And now she knows, you know? And it was understanding like there's times to work out and your body wants that and it feeds off it. And there's times to not do that. And
Yes.
I remember sort of working with cycle. And again, your cycle does, or for some people, does move. But for me, with all of this learning, it's like when which just happened actually on the first new moon of the year, like I got my bleed on that same day, and I'm like, yeah, it just feels so special. But I feel like it's also the same with the seasons.
Hmm.
Like it's the
Yes.
seasons of the cycle, but it's the seasons within our year and within and where I really disconnected with that was with when I was traveling a lot. And I
Yes.
actually had like 7 summers in a row, which back then felt amazing. But my body was like, I don't understand.
Yes. I totally feel you. Like with the season, with the woman cycle, with training, like I was training when I was younger, like 10 years ago, a lot more. Now I'm not training anymore so much because my body just it's a bit more gentle to my body and don't want to work out
Mm,
hard anymore. And sometimes, but then it's fun, but not all the time.
hmm.
And with the summer and winter season, definitely, I'm going currently the last 3 4 years. I'm going every New Zealand's winter to German summer as well.
Hmm.
This year, I'm on and off. Do I want to go? Do I don't want to go? Because last year my body felt like "Ah, I need a winter, but
Mm.
I don't like winter, but I do need winter.
I hear
Yeah.
you. I hear you. And that was my thinking around these constant summers.
Yeah.
And also my thinking around like I don't like a winter. And I'll be honest, I don't I get really low if I have a whole winter. So I love to have like a vitamin D injection, like some I need to go somewhere in the middle of winter, especially like in New Zealand winter. But and I did that last year, but I also embraced the fact that it was still so that even though I traveled, I embraced the fact that it was winter and that my body needs slowness and my body needed quiet. Yeah. And that it is, it's that feeling, isn't it? It's going inward, but also that hibernation and letting things come up.
Yes.
And I think that, do you feel like that's something that because people get really blue in the winter, blue, they feel really a little bit depressed and there's a lack of vitamin D. But also, I think that we're meant to have that inward time, and it's not necessarily bad. It's just that there's things that are coming up that we didn't necessarily expect, or maybe don't want to look at, but we can, and we get
Yes.
to. And I think that's what winter or that quiet, so the bleed time or new moon, that's what that's about.
Yes.
Just looking
Yes.
inward, no matter what comes up.
Exactly. Looking inward. This is exactly what I feel like because if we have the winter and all the noise is slowing down,
Mm,
it's getting earlier, we come home earlier, we light the
mm,
fire, and fire is so meditating or like so giving us the space as well to really reflect and listen
mm-hmm,
deeply. And we can journal, we can reflect so much about ourselves, about the situation, about the cycle, like where I was last year in this time, in this phase. And having really like for me just into the play the like just starting on the first 2 days, like I have so much to journal. Like
mm-hmm.
I need, and this time as well, got so many insights. I was like, yes, 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 yeah, wow, yeah. Now let's
Yeah.
and what is the first step? What is the smallest action I can do from this reflection?
Mm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, it was. I'm really grateful for this time now because
Agreed.
embracing our bleed, embracing our cycle, and then not hiding it anymore. Because
Mm-hmm.
before I feel everybody was like having their period, but it's just like
Don't
you
talk
do
about
it
it.
and you, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
hidden. But now everybody, I'm on day 2. I'm sorry, like I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, sure, make yourself. Do you need anything? Like
Yes.
we embrace it, we express it, we speak with each other, and in this way we can share more raw, vulnerable, and openly, and we understand. Okay, if she's a bit grumpy, or if she's a bit more euphoric, and she wants to travel the world in one day, like okay, like we know she's in a relation. If she wants to hide and don't want to speak a lot, then okay, maybe she's in bleeding, and
Mm,
honoring and respecting their space and time from each and everyone. I
mm-hmm.
think it's
Yeah.
powerful. Yes, some people
What?
use clothes. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. And also, even just for a deeper understanding of self. So, knowing that when you aren't with that much energy or that you are feeling lower and slower, then that's naturally your body doing what it needs to do. And the sooner you listen, the sooner the energy comes back in. But it's when we push through that, despite what we're hearing, that we spend what we don't have. It's like spending all the money in your savings account, right? It's like, again, it's cyclic.
Yeah.
It's so special. And what I also hear and love to reflect is the power of reflection.
Yes.
Like, and you'll see this in your own life, but also in the work that you do. It's like, how do we know the way we want to move forward without looking back? And it doesn't mean dwelling. There's a very different thing, and as in holding stories or dwelling on and like being in the victim, but it's like actually reflecting on where am I at, how am I placed, what do I want, where am I moving with, and what's coming, but also not even that. It's like what's coming through for me.
Mhm.
It's such a powerful tool that I think gets underestimated, but I understand that with the noise of the world, or also maybe not as many resources on board, it isn't as comfortable to sit with self, but it is a practice that you can build, and then it's just like the best thing ever.
It is like having time and space to be quiet and to reflect, to just write whatever is coming and what is present. For me,
Mm,
this is luxury.
agreed.
This is luxury to allow and to tune in. And yeah, the reflection is a gift to ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah. And then I hear it's like, how do you know where you want to go without really understanding where you've been?
Yeah.
And many facets of that, which is just it's so special. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing your insight on that. Is there anything else that you feel like is a key sort of piece of your own tools or resources that helps you tune into your cycle?
Hmm. I think at first being patient with ourselves, to not having every day reflection time, having every day like I need to track everything. Like slow down. Like it's a journey over years. That some
I
month
agree.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm writing more and reflecting more, and sometimes it was just the new moon and the full moon was like I was reflecting like, oh, how I feel. And then more and more like be patient with yourself and have the acceptance that like, yeah, maybe your work life is not in sync with your own cycle, because you have in a way as a work life which is not adjusting or not that easy to adjust, or having children and everything. Have your own time and space to figure out how you can start in a small step to tune in. Just when you're bleeding, write down. Just start with one small thing and not the whole cycle, because
I agree.
yeah.
Well, it's not something that you can force figuring out. You actually just need to be in the listening of it. So I love what you're saying because slowest is the fastest way to get there because just and that's why I also say that too. It's like just start tracking your cycle. And they're like, but what do it? And I was like, just start paying attention to it. And then you'll start to notice things and then you'll notice what you notice and then that intuition will start to because it's not something that you get right or pass a test. It's like just being in the listening of your body. And
Yeah.
that swings back to what you said right at the beginning. It's like just the greatest gift, and I believe this too, is like the relationship we have with ourselves, but also understanding the more we care for this vessel,
Mhm.
the more it guides the way.
Yes. How
Yes. So good. So, my love, you have, in reflecting like question three, you have a question for me.
yes. I have a question. You had the idea of the podcast one day.
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
many years is it? How many years ago? You had the
I,
first idea.
yeah, the first idea. Oh, the first idea. I think it probably started brewing in like early 2025.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And like when, for me, is the question,
Yeah.
when did you get the idea and what was the journey to make it happen, that
Mm.
you said, okay, no, I commit, I learn what it takes about
Yeah.
technical stuff and do
Yeah.
everything, and finding my people and everything. What was your journey with really say, okay, I'm doing a podcast, I commit, I show up, I support
Hmm.
the people with your beautiful guidance, with your beautiful wisdom, and sharing with other people together the wisdom.
Hmm. Yeah. So cool. So I love that you asked when I had the idea, and then I get to share like so now that I know myself more and I'm a projector, so you let things just simmer until it's like go time, right? And for projectors, it's like self-care, self-care, self-care. I got lots of energy and there's an idea. So I had the idea, but the thing was that earlier in my entrepreneurial days, there was a lot of people coming at me, you need to have a podcast, you need to have a podcast. This is what you should do. And I was like, well, I really don't want to do it then. I'm not doing it because I should. I don't want that. But then I started to really work with my clients and see some patterns and some rhythms. And then I started to meet really beautiful people like yourself and some dear friends. And we'd get to like, we'd be deep in conversation, or we'd get to the end of like, really beautiful transmission, so to speak. And I would think to myself, man, I wish other people could hear these combos. And so that's what inspired it. And that was still like in the brewing phase of it. And then it's funny because this goes back to the second question, right? And then I knew that I needed like a winter away. I needed, in order to create and in order to see what wants to come through for me, and the podcast wasn't necessarily in my mind, but what needs to come through was to not work, not do any events or any clients. So I took myself up for winter, up very far north at a house sit, and just made space for myself. And I was like, just whatever needs to come through, but I'm going to embrace this winter and I want to be in the hibernation. And then it just kind of, the seed, like the podcast seed just started brewing. And then this is the way it works for me. And it's probably around the full moon. I think it was. But then I just wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, holy God. And I start writing stuff down. And then the next day I did the whole thing. So like, and that's what I mean. Like when I turn into my projector energy, it's like when the idea is right there, it happens in no time at all. So it's not as though we're lazy or we go slower than others. It's just like we have a different way of doing it, right? And so, yes, and that's literally what happened. I was so laser focused. Like 8 hours later, I had it all set up. I had the invites ready and I was sending it out because I started with my person who was working with me in digital marketing because I wanted to flip the script and I wanted to work with someone behind the scenes rather than looking for the flat. I was like, I want these people who I'm having these deep corridors to start. And then I invited my friends and it just went from there. But the other mission around it was wanting to celebrate all these beautiful people I know that do such incredible work. And I wanted to celebrate that the wisdom is within us if we just open up to that inquiry and we just open up to that conversation. And I just, that's what I wanted to share. So it feels really special to share that, and to understand that I just trust myself when I get to that point, which is just so powerful. Um, so, it feels full circle sharing that because it's about being in the deep listening. It's about trusting the cycles. It's about and the deep listening, but also trusting self. So that's what I love about human design. And I haven't dived in a whole lot, but just understanding my design and how I make decisions and how things come through for me has been really helpful. And I talked to a beautiful human, John, and I'm hoping he will come back on, but a little bit about more of the human design. I actually had a session with him too, because I think it's a powerful place to understand self. Do you feel
So
that way?
much. I'm a 2/4 emotional projector.
Yes.
Feel that I could totally resonate what you said. Like I totally feel that like it something is bubbly, but like not really, nah, not yet, nah, I don't feel like it. I stay in bed, and then one morning you wake up and you just need to make it happen.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
it's oh, and yeah, some generators they are amazing, always like on the go. And I
Amazing
can't,
stamina.
yeah,
So true.
because
I think another one that I learned about myself is that I'm a 3/5, so I'm meant to experiment, right? And that was really powerful for me because I had the lens and the conditioning of like, you keep trying these things and they don't work out, and that means you're failing. And I was like, no, no, I've learned like that's actually what I'm supposed to do. And there's so much that I learn, and I don't see it as a failure, but in that pivot, like of trying it and then being like, nope, and trying that, and nope. But it doesn't mean that when I tried those things that I'm not going forward with, that I didn't gather what I needed for what's going to pop out next.
totally, totally. Yes, I'm a 2/4, like a hermit and opportunist, because
Hmm.
that, yeah, follow like my life in New Zealand. Like I always traveled where I see the most potential,
Hmm.
where I see the biggest opportunity, I go there. And I live there and
Mm.
work there. and I feel, okay, where's the most alignment right now? And
That's
it works
beautiful.
so far for me.
Yes,
And,
I love
and
it.
it's so necessary, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it really, and for me, like learning more about the project, it really helped me understand myself as an introvert and as like needing to like draw energy in and that's how I work. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not lazy or a lack of. Um, it is always just this is way to generate energy, which I love. So you traveled to Waiheke Island, and I think you work online as well. So what I wanted to end
Yeah.
with, and what I would love for you to share with other people is how do you, how do people work with you? How do people find you? And what are you offering at the moment that people can connect with?
To work with people, to support them to walk their own journey. Like I run different workshops. Like I run one-on-ones on Waiheke Island. There we do body posture and inner posture, which means like it's body work, energy work, and as well personal training to see the posture. How can we align from the physical world, physical
Hmm.
body, into ourself, or what is there in the mindset, in our values, or in our mm, inner posture to
Hmm.
align to ourselves. And the inner posture and the I can do it as well online. My Instagram is Shanti Therapy Training, and Instagram, Facebook, and website. And it's a pleasure to sometimes there's just like the people are so scattered in this world,
Hmm.
in this society of like it's getting everything too much, and we need to retreat. We need to understand ourselves again, and because that is my pleasure to support in this way. And
Hmm.
yeah, and with the workshop is vision board workshops to really envision as well our future, and as well for highly sensitive people. I'm going more and more into this field because I'm highly sensitive. I felt weird in this world, and I feel we don't need to feel weird. We need to just find our people. We just need to find our tools to be in the present moment, to retreat, to find our way of living. And
Hmm.
that's why I'm building more and more um, a community for empaths, highly sensitive people, and that is my vision with my podcast in one day. But yeah,
Yay!
that is my heart is calling me.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and connecting with me. And I'm just so grateful. I already, as you were sharing about your work with inner and inner posture, I'm like, oh, she needs to come back and talk about that. And we will.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. And for all of those who are listening, we're open to you connecting with us. Reach out if you have any questions about what we shared, about the work that we do. We're here for that. We're here for the combos, and we love to hear from you, or support you through something that may have awakened a curiosity. So I love that, and I just, Teresa, thank you so much for being here. Mhm.
Thank you so much for getting and listening to your guidance and make it happen. Thank you.
Yes.